Hello. Hi, neighbors. Welcome to the Essex Junction Packet Podcast. A quick rundown of what is going to be happening this week in the Essex Junction City Council meeting for May 13th, 2026. All right, I'm Marcus Serta, former Essex Junction City Councilor. I created this show, as an independent community project just to help residents better understand what's happening in local government before the meetings happen. This podcast is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or approved by the City of Essex Junction or the City Council. This is simply my own effort to improve some access, increase transparency, and hopefully make local government feel a little more approachable. Just so you're aware, the script I created has got some AI assistance, so take it for what it's worth. But look, this is going to be a teaser for what is going to be happening. This is not meant to be a deep dive into every issue or substitute for attending meetings, reading the packet yourself, or participating in the public comment. This is more of your local government briefing, a quick version designed to help you understand what's being discussed, what might affect you, and of course, what topics may deserve a closer look. Let's get into it. All right, first on the agenda this week is, of course, an orientation for the City Council. Now, orientation sounds procedural, but this presentation is really a roadmap for how the city government operates and where the city is trying to go over the next year. Councilors will review how the council manager form of government works, ethics and transparency requirements, budgeting responsibilities, committee structures, and the city's long-term strategic priorities. The presentation also lays out some of the city's biggest ongoing projects, including the comprehensive plan rewrite, transportation and bike infrastructure projects, majority of utility and public works upgrades, future recreation and fire facility planning, and of course, a broader economic development discussion. The city's strategic vision continues to focus heavily on growth, walkability, housing, sustainability, and community connectivity. This item is not about making major decisions. It's more about establishing how the council operates, setting expectations for roles and responsibilities, and of course, giving an early preview of the kinds of policies and planning conversations likely to come over the next year. Also on the agenda is the discussion around the retreat, which is designed to help councilors and the department heads identify city's top priorities heading into future budget discussions. And of course, some long-term planning. Topics are expected to dominate this conversation, including economic development, redevelopment opportunities, community trust and engagement, infrastructure investment, and balancing growth with quality of life concerns. One interesting detail inside this packet is the city's proposed priority setting considerations. This is basically a checklist for deciding whether projects deserve city resources. Questions include, can this realistically happen within the next couple of years? Will residents actually notice the impact? Does it improve inclusion and equity? And is this something the public would realistically support with funding? So it sounds like an internal planning session, but it's actually an early preview of future budget priorities. It's a great discussion to pay attention to. The council is also expected to discuss changes for its meeting schedule for the second half of 2026. Several meetings currently conflict with holidays, including Veterans Day, Thanksgiving week, and Christmas week. This usually happens about every year, and it's a good time to readjust that meeting schedule. Potential changes could include moving the November 11th meeting, canceling the meeting immediately before Thanksgiving, and shifting December meetings to earlier in the month. The council may also discuss whether to reduce some meetings during the summer vacation season. This is mostly operational housekeeping, but these scheduling choices can affect how quickly city business moves later in the year. Also, there's going to be a discussion around regional board appointments. The council will review appointments to several regional organizations and committees, including Green Mountain Transit, Chittenden Solid Waste District, Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission, and Town Meeting TV. Most appointments are routine reappointments, but these organizations influence transportation planning, solid waste policy, regional growth discussions, and public media coverage throughout Chittenden County. So while these votes usually happen quietly, they do shape how Essex Junction participates in the regional decision-making. Let's talk about that consent agenda. Now, look, This is essentially the council's bulk approval list. These are typically routine, administrative, or previously discussed items that are expected to pass in a single vote unless a councilor wants to pull them out for a separate discussion or debate. Included this week in the consent agenda is an approval for prior meeting minutes, updates to the Bike Walk Advisory Committee policy, approval of the city's annual emergency management plan, a recreation grant proposal tied to type 1 diabetes programming, expanded Memorial Day parade road closures, and a neighborhood block party request. One notable change would expand the Bike Walk Advisory Committee from 6 members to 7 due to growing public interest and to avoid some tie votes. The Memorial Day closure for the parade, this proposal would also expand road closures on Main Street from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. These items may move quickly during the meeting, but they often contain practical quality of life changes that directly impact residents. So it's always important to check out what's inside the consent. Next, we've got the reading file. The reading file section on the agenda is basically the city's informational inbox. These items are usually not debated or voted on during the meeting, but they are included so councilors and the public can stay informed about ongoing projects, finances, committee work, and operational updates. This week's reading file includes financial reports, reappraisal updates, committee meeting minutes, a mural feedback survey announcement, and appreciation resolutions for recognizing former councilor Elaine Haney and some other guy. Look, if you really want to understand the day-to-day workings of local government, the reading file is actually where you can find some interesting details because that's where they quietly live. Lastly, there's a meeting recap from the April 29th meeting. Check this out because there were some pretty significant decisions made. The council approved new utility rates, a redesigned city entrance sign, funding for the Railroad Street kiosk replacement, and the Park Street Complete Streets project. That Park Street vote may end up being one of the more consequential decisions of the year. The council ultimately approved buffered bike lanes along Park Street, despite concerns from some nearby businesses about parking impacts. Supporters argued that the project improves safety, reduces speeding, and helps connect the city's bike network more effectively. The debate reflected a broader conversation that's been happening around communities. Look, the cities are just trying to balance parking, safety, walkability, transportation alternatives, and of course, future growth. The Essex Junction City Council meeting is happening this Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at 2 Lincoln Street in City Hall. Show up, participate. If you can't get there, don't worry. You can join online through Zoom or you can watch it on Town Meeting TV. You can find links in the description below. Feel free to use those links. Public comment is always available during public to be heard, and residents can also speak on individual agenda items during the discussion. If any of these topics have caught your attention, consider reading the packet for more details, watching the meeting, or participating in person or online. Local government works when people pay attention and participate. I would appreciate your feedback on this project as well. So please like and subscribe if this has been helpful, and leave a comment below so that I could try to make this work better for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.